Good morning, everyone. This 5-minute tutorial will serve to help you understand better the introductions and the conclusions of this second talk, major talk, that's called Stats, Studies, and Stories. And if you'll notice in the outline, I have given you the direction for this as well. This is a way for me to sort of give everyone something to do that's the same as I said before. And if you'll see, this introduction includes questions. And asking rhetorical questions is a good way to get into the speech because it engages the audience. You ask a question. What we don't want, and what I don't want you to do in a live situation, is to start out with a question and then actually call on people. 10 people raise their hand and you say, yes, what do you think? Yes, what do you think? That kind of gives ownership over to the audience, and we don't want that. So these are rhetorical questions meant to engage the audience and to make them think. Now, as we said in the last one, introductions and conclusions are very important, even though they only occupy a small amount of time of your overall speech. They, in the form of an introduction, they set the tone and they engage the audience. They make them think, and they set them to your way of approaching the topic. And so for this introduction, you can really structure it however you want. But as I said before, it's always nice to be greeted with a smile and a short greeting, whether it's thank you for being here today or I'm so happy to be with you today. That kind of gets your energy levels up a little bit. And then I want 3 questions. And again, remember, we don't like the boring things. So what I don't want is to hear that key word in your first sentence. For instance, if I was giving a speech on Hawaii, my first question would not be, how many of you have been to Hawaii? Okay, I know where you're going. You have to think a little creatively. So maybe I would go with, how many of you would like to spend a week at 30 below zero? How many of you would like to be freezing cold? Me neither. That's why today I want to talk about Hawaii. Okay, now you've kind of started here and zipped it back to here by using an opposite. So you can get at this any way you want. Again, in the outline, I want to see how you approach this. So in your outlines, sort of give me your strategy for your 3 questions, and I will help you along the way. Your conclusion, I have said, I want to have a quote. So basically, the best conclusion here is to say, in conclusion, and then I want you to come up with a very strong statement. I don't like the conclusions that say, in conclusion, here's what I just told you. The conclusions aren't there to recap what you've already, the time is too precious to waste to say, here's what we already just learned. Instead, I want you to have and develop a very strong statement of opinion or fact, to be strong in your conclusion. In conclusion, I'm sure now that you agree with me that heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans and it cannot be left untreated. A strong statement. And then say, today I'd like to leave you with a quote. And then find a quote. And like I said in the outline, if I'm giving this heart disease talk, the quote shouldn't be, to quote a doctor, heart disease is a killer. You've lost an opportunity there to really go deeper. And that's what quotes are. They're short, but they're deep. And so I gave you my example there. Find a quote that, the best quotes, especially in class, is when people give the quote, and even I'll sit there and I'll go, and it'll take me a second, I'll go, oh yeah, that's good. Okay? It's almost like the mic drop, right? Doink. Think about that. So this is a great way to end your speech with, someone else's words that really kind of make your audience give a deeper thought and consideration as to what you were talking about. Introductions and conclusions. Short space, big value. Let me see what you can do.